This is a question to all of us out there. Yes, do you remember that very famous Police song, Message in a Bottle? Do you remember that one? And I think that really intrigued so many people, didn't it? Because I don't know about you, but I'd never really heard of that or indeed that practice before. And when you think about it, it's a very clever idea, isn't it? Put a message in a bottle and send it out into the sea or wherever and see where it lands up. Now, I just find all of these sort of things fascinating because when you look back, say, to the Victorian and Edwardian era and even the Roman times, they were very keen to leave their mark, to let the public know that they'd been there at that particular time. You see, a recent find up in the wonderful land that is Scotland really made me think, I wonder what else is out there. As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me in the sunshine today, here in the very heart of London town. It's gorgeous, isn't it? Can you see? Oh, it's just nice. Absolutely, yes. Don't need the free vitamin D capsule today. Well, not the free, but you know what I mean. Got the free vitamin D here. Yeah, absolutely. Saves on vitamins, another thing. You see, Northerners, we always find a way of not opening the wallet. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes, if there's a way around it, I'll find it, trust me. Oh, yes. Now, what I find fascinating when you look back in history, and particularly for somebody who's appeared at many theatres up and down this wonderful land. I've appeared, everywhere, and I don't mean this big-headedly, but from Broadway to every major theatre up and down the United Kingdom, including the world-famous London Palladium, and of course some venues that really do shine, like Crewe Lyceum, a wonderful place, just a wonderful venue. I mean, smaller venues that you forget about, of course, and you think, yeah, that was beautifully built, the architecture, all the hard work that goes into theatres, you kind of look and think, wow, they really put their effort in because they were pleasure palaces, weren't they? Just like the cinemas. At the turn of the last century, the 19th century, vaudeville theatre was really taking off. And when you went to see your favourite stars, you literally wanted to feel like you were in a palace, something akin to a royal palace. And that was part of the reason why the likes of Sir Frank Matcham, the really a sort of, renowned theatre architect who built so many of the wonderful theatres that still stand today, including the remnants of the London Hippodrome in the corner of London's Leicester Square, another place I've managed to close, but no, you know what I mean? But seriously, you look around and think, wow, these were big places. He was the number one architect that literally everybody went to. And you see, the hope was that actually you were going to visit the palace, but not only that, they hoped that royalty would attend. That was part really of having a royal box. You see, if you had a royal box with a spectacular view, then, you may just get the royalty to come if they were visiting in town or staying over. But what's fascinated me is, and this is the question I wanted to put out there to you, you see, way back, yes, over 120 years ago now, up at the King's Theatre in Edinburgh, they're doing some wonderful renovations. And it's a marvellous theatre when you look at it. It's just wonderful. And to think, everybody who's walked through that stage door, stood in those wings, nervously going on and basically thinking, will they like me? If you're a performer, you know what that's like. Honestly, there's nothing more better, if you like, than being a health kick. Do you know what I'm saying? You just don't get away with it. You cannot go back. It's not like filming or, making a play or something. You've got to get round it and get out there and do your best. But now they've discovered this. Now, it may sound like a tale worthy of fiction, but an historical discovery at a theatre in Scotland, well, it's all too real. A message in a bottle hidden by craftsmen building Edinburgh's King's Theatre has been found by chance after 119 years. The theatre photographer and the historian spotted the bottle hidden in the plaster crown at the centre of the proscenium arch at the top of the stage. Inside was a list of those on the theatre who were working, and it is dated October 1906. A source at the theatre reveals it's astonishing to think that this capsule of history had been hidden in plain sight for nearly 120 years, silently bearing witness to the countless famous faces and the Edinburgh community performers that have graced the stage of the Kings. I don't know about you, but I think stories like that are magical because, you know, as I said, most of the theatres that they pulled down in the 1950s and 60s, you know, very stupidly, in my opinion, they pulled down some wonderful venues like the Empire in Glasgow, the Leeds Empire, all these beautiful emporiums of theatres. And when they pulled them down, you know, they found quite a lot of notes behind bricks and things that people had left behind, newspapers and glasses and things like that. So to let the world know that they'd been there and they were part of building this wonderful heritage. When you think about it, you know, there are monuments around the world that we all look up to and adore. And if you see those pictures, say, of how they built Blackpool Tower, all of those hard-working men starting at the very bottom, and literally there you are, leaving this magnificent structure all of those years later. I wonder what's buried beneath there. More importantly, at the start of this video, I asked you, did you ever do the message in a bottle? Have you left your mark somewhere that you may not have told anybody? And in years to come, if they're looking at your old house, or maybe you buried something in the garden, or I don't know, something at school even, did you leave your own personal message? And in years to come, will people find it and say, I wonder who they were? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.